Just in time for the budget. Excellent.
I know, I should extend it. Couldn't miss your big day.
Let me know if everyone's ready. Everyone's right? Okay, good morning, Queensland. Well, today we have some very exciting news for you, and this is a Queensland first and it's an Australia first. And today, as part of our budget, we're letting Queenslanders know that our government is going to be investing $750 million into a state-of-art, brand new Queensland Cancer Centre. This is exciting news. Around 20,000 people are diagnosed with cancer each and every year. And some of these cases and people have very complex issues. And to have a state-of-the-art facility under one roof, right here where we're standing, which will link in with the Royal Hospital here and QUT, this is exactly what Queensland needs. I am incredibly proud of this investment that our government is making. Everyone knows someone who has gone through cancer. Everybody knows someone who, goes through a very tough time, and sometimes these issues are very complex, and you'll have the best facilities here. It'll be completed by 2028, and it's $750 million investment. I said to Queenslanders, that this will be a record investment in health, and I absolutely am sticking to my promise here to Queenslanders. I want to thank the Treasurer and the Health Minister for the work that has been done into preparing us for this announcement today, and very pleased that Minister Grace, as the local member, is here as well. The Queensland Cancer Centre will be the only cancer care service in Australia offering the full spectrum of cancer services in one place. It is a significant undertaking, a sophisticated, advanced medical facility, and this has required a lot of planning, and more detailed planning will now happen with today's announcement. But essentially where we are standing here, all the way back up to that precinct there, will be the site of Queensland's first dedicated Queensland Cancer Centre. $750 million, absolutely every single dollar, very, very well spent, and I'm absolutely excited today to announce this for the people of our state. And of course, people will be flown around down here from all parts of Queensland, and it's like a one-stop shop for the most sophisticated treatment that people need, all under one roof. This is exactly what the doctor ordered, and it's exactly what we've listened to the experts when they told us this is what Queensland needs. So I'll hand over to the Health Minister and then the Treasurer. Thank you.
Thank you, Premier, and this is a very exciting day. This is what healthcare is all about, saving lives and providing the best quality healthcare to Queenslanders. The new Queensland Cancer Centre will be based here at the RBWH, managed by Metro North Hospital and Health Service, but it will support people right across Queensland. Sadly, on average, one person every 4 minutes is diagnosed with cancer in Australia. In Queensland, we expect the number of people diagnosed will increase by 46% by 2036. We have a responsibility to do everything we can to provide the highest quality care and treatment for people who are diagnosed with cancer. This Queensland Cancer Centre will be world leading and a first in this country. Nowhere else in Australia have they brought together all cancer therapies into one place, and that's what this centre does. It not only provides a world-leading cancer centre, it also will create 150 cancer beds and free up another 59 beds in the hospital system. So 150 extra hospital beds will be created, being 91 new cancer beds and 59 other beds which will be moved over, creating extra capacity in our hospital system. And it will mean that we can attract the highest calibre of clinicians who will want to come and work for Queensland Health, because no matter where they are working in our health system in Queensland, we want to give our specialist cancer clinicians the opportunity to be able to work at some point at this centre, and that's what offering this centre does. It gives them a chance to come and work for us so that they can come and train up and get extra skills at this amazing facility. I do want to thank everyone who's been involved in this planning. This is a huge achievement to get to this point and be able to announce this today. Construction will start in 2024 with completion in 2028. However, some of these services will come online over the coming years, leading up to the site being fully operational in 2028. It will also support over 2,000 jobs, which is fantastic during the construction. But most importantly, this is about giving individualised treatment at the right time in the right place to help save lives. And we know many cancer patients go on to potentially contract other forms of cancer later in life. By being able to give this type of specialist therapy, including cell therapy, and I was visiting QIMR last week, looking at their incredible research and treatment in cell therapy, partnering with these other stakeholders will mean that we are truly world leading here and making such a difference in people's lives. I'll now hand over to the Treasurer, but I cannot wait for this facility to be open and making such a difference in Queenslanders' lives. Thank you.
When our government invests in healthcare, we invest in the people of our state. And when we invest in the people of Queensland, whether it be our mighty health workers or our fellow Queenslanders who deserve the best possible care, that investment always delivers a return. Over the last couple of budgets, over the last two budgets, we've invested and increased our investment in the healthcare of Queenslanders by 13%. And that will continue. That growth in investment will continue in our budget to be handed down next week. Because Queenslanders know that's what Labor governments do. Always investing in the health care that our people need and the health care that our people deserve. And so our budget next week will be focused on better services like better health care, including the amazing services that will be provided at the Queensland Cancer Centre, more jobs for Queenslanders, and of course preserving, protecting and enhancing Queensland's lifestyle, which is the envy of the world. That's what our budget next week will be all about.
Thank you. It's great to be here in McConnell this morning with the Premier, Treasurer, Minister for Health and Metro North Chair Jim McGowan. We all know someone who is suffering or has suffered from cancer, and this investment announced today on this site will become a game changer for those who have found out that they are suffering from cancer. They will get the best treatment in a one-stop shop. This is health planning at its best. A $750 Australia First $1 million investment in the wonderful Hurston Health Precinct, which delivers world-class health research and treatment right here at one of our best hospitals, the RBWH. I know that my constituents in McConnell will be very happy to hear of this investment, and I actually can't wait to be here with the Premier and Health Minister and hopefully the Treasurer again to turn the sod on this site so we can start building what will be Australia's first Queensland Cancer Centre and what will be an amazing addition to the Hurston Health Precinct, providing cancer sufferers the best treatment that they'll get anywhere in the world. As a member for McConnell and a minister in the Palaszczuk government, I couldn't be more prouder today of this long-term health planning, which is exactly what we need to help meet the needs of patients into the future. It's wonderful being here this morning. Can't wait to turn the sod. Thank you.
Well, of course, when you have complex issues dealing with cancer as well, this will be a dedicated, as I said, one-stop shop for those more complicated. So they won't be presenting to emergency, they'll be coming here. So they'll be easing the pressure on our emergency departments. But let me just add here, just so everyone knows, how big this centre is going to be. We said that it's going to have 150 beds. There'll be an extra 26 consulting rooms, taking the total number of consulting rooms up to 50, 37 chemo chairs, 4 theatres, pathology and pharmacy. Plus, as the Health Minister said, links in with QUT and QMIR Berghofer. So you've got all of that expertise in one centre. State of the art, Queensland first, Australia first.
Why doesn't construction start until 2024, and when in 2024 are you expecting that?
Oh, well, they'll now do the detailed planning. Of course, Health needed to know that they were getting this money. We've made this announcement ahead of next week's budget, and I think it's very important. I think the people of Queensland would like to know that their government is thinking of them, making sure that we have this high-level, dedicated, state-of-the-art centre for them in their times of need.
Has the total amount of the project been committed in the full estimates?
You'll have to ask the Treasurer that. Can we? Or there? Yeah, I think it is, yeah, from memory. Yeah. Yep, yes. We've seen, we've also got Dr. Glenn Kennedy here, who's an expert in the field. We might get him to talk to you afterwards. But we have seen cancer centres being set up in other jurisdictions, I think from memory down in Sydney and in Melbourne. But this is more comprehensive than what they have. So I believe it is, and what I've been told, it is absolutely state of the art and an Australia first about what we want to do here.
Rami, there's been very serious allegations raised about money laundering, illegal Chinese junkets and fraud in Queensland Star casinos. Why hasn't Queensland called an inquiry into whether Star is fit to hold a casino licence?
Look, the Attorney General will have more to say about this, but she's taking all of these issues very seriously, and we've actually committed to an independent assessment, but I think I'll wait for the Attorney General to make further comments on that.
Can I just ask whether, Star is due to open Queen's Wharf next year,
Yep.
the casino is...
That's why the government is
that.
taking it very, very seriously, and as I said, the Attorney General will have more to say about this.
But is it immune from a public inquiry, because it's the biggest private project in Queensland? You can't really rip its casino licence away. Wouldn't that cause the whole project to fall over?
I think we'll wait for the Attorney General.
Is he going to be speaking today on it?
Probably tomorrow.
Have you spoken... Sorry.
I think you'll see her tomorrow at the Media Club.
Have you spoken to Evan Moorhead about Star since he left your office in 2019?
Not to my knowledge, no.
And what's your personal view? Can you just say, I know we'll talk to the Attorney General tomorrow.
No,
but
I'm not talking about personal views. I'm the Premier of this state.
What's your
I
view
have
as-
I
what's your view
have
as the
I
Premier?
have an Attorney General. What has been raised in New South Wales is serious. Our Cabinet takes it seriously, and I'll let the Attorney General make further comments about that.
Are you keeping an open mind about whether Queensland could hold an independent public inquiry into whether Star should keep its casino licence in Queensland?
Cabinet is carefully considering all of these matters, and when Cabinet has considered all of these matters, then a public comment will be made.
How would you describe the government's relationship with the NAB?
Well, I haven't had many personal dealings at all, so they have to register. They're lobbying as required under the Lobbying Code of Conduct, which I expect them to comply with.
In this situation, sorry, Elaine.
No, welcome back.
Thank
Yeah.
you. In this
But we might let other people have a question if that's all right. Okay, all right. Okay, she's
in this situation,
eager to ask some more questions.
So, I've
Yeah.
got lots of pent up questions.
That's all right.
In this situation,
It's not as if we've missed those at all.
In this situation, Evan Moorhead is acting as a consultant for Star, so he doesn't have to declare what he's doing on the lobbyist register. Is that appropriate?
As I said, I've said to the people of Queensland that I am looking at tightening up those requirements around lobbying. I've been on the public record saying that, and I'll have further comments to make after we see Peter Coldrake's report, which is due at the end of June.
On the housing prices and rental prices, has there been, will there be any thought opening up lockdown for those, particularly cars and things like that?
Oh, we have an open mind. As I said, we've actually opened up, we've made offers to New South Wales with the floods as well. And, you know, people find it hard to leave their communities. I think what you'll find is that why that might be prohibitive is that people like to get all of their services in the communities where they live and where they work. So that's an issue. But look, we are looking at other uses. But let me say this too: the federal government under Scott Morrison also committed to opening up Pinkenba. So there's been a huge investment in Pinkenba, and everyone talks about Wellcamp, but there are, accommodation that has now been purposely designed for if we go through another pandemic like we went through over the last 2 years. And I tell you what, it's better to be prepared than not prepared.
Does that mean we'll be signing on beyond the current 12 months renting?
Well, you might ask Scott Morrison why he signed off on Pinkenba, why they signed off on one over in Western Australia, and they signed off one over, from memory, down in Melbourne as well. Okay. Sorry? I think we're very encouraged by the uptake. From memory, over 450,000 people have received their flu jab. And can I encourage Queenslanders, you have until the end of June to go and get your flu vaccine. So I'm very encouraged by those numbers, but of course I'd like to see more.
National Cabinet's on Friday. What are you going to put on the agenda?
Oh, well, they'll be between me and the Prime Minister, but I'll have more to say about that later on in the week.
Is there anything in particular Queensland wants out of Friday's meeting in particular?
We've always raised health, and health will be front and centre. I'll have more to say about that on Thursday, leading into Friday.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Thanks.
The right person to ask this. United Workers Union wants 254 funding.
The budget next week, and that'll be both for staff and for a capital investment in Queensland.
Will it be all paramedics on the...
We've always funded the front line in Queensland. I'm happy to get the numbers for you from the Health Minister, but we've always funded the front line. Comparison, if you look at what the LNP promised at the last election, David Crisafulli was a member of the shadow cabinet. It'd be about 3,500 at least health workers less in the health system at the end of this parliamentary term, whereas the front line is continuing to grow, and that's what we should do in Queensland, continue to fund the staff that are growing state with growing health demand needs.
Can you confirm the cost of this project and the forward estimates?
It's a project that's led by the Health Minister, so I'm happy to defer to the Health Minister. I find the money, and then the projects are delivered by the line ministers.
How much will coal royalties increase by?
Not long to wait, Damani. We've got less than a week now. So I don't want to take the surprise away from you.
Premier, the Indigenous...
But, you know, look, we've made a very clear promise to the people of Queensland, and we're now working through that promise, which was to keep coal royalties frozen until the 30th of June. We're approaching that date, and then we'll make more announcements in the budget.
If that royalty though does increase, how is that not a broken promise?
Well, we made a very clear promise to the people of Queensland at the last election. We made a promise to the people of Queensland. It's one we've honoured and will continue to honour. We didn't make a promise to big corporations, whether they be in Queensland or national or multinational. We didn't make a promise to them. We didn't make a promise to big coal corporations. We didn't make a promise to big offshore-based online betting companies. Many of them are domiciled or have headquarters in tax havens like the Isle of Man and other places in the world. And we know that because all the way through the election, the Queensland Resources Council campaigned against the government, calling for an extension of the royalties freeze. That's what they call on us to do. If they'd accept that promise that applied to them, they wouldn't have campaigned, but they knew it didn't apply to them. That's exactly why they campaigned for an extension of the coal royalty freeze. We didn't agree to that. We kept our promise. We kept our promise to maintain that freeze until the 30th of June. This is an industry that has had a 10-year freeze on royalties. There wouldn't be another industry, perhaps anywhere in Australia or around the world, that has had that level of certainty. And when you look at the history of coal royalties, they change about every 7 years or so. So this industry's had 10 years of certainty. We've honoured that promise, we've delivered on that promise, and I'll have more to say about where we go in the future to ensure that Queenslanders who deserve a fair share of that resource, that non-renewable resource that's been extracted from our state. Those companies have made billions of dollars since we made that promise, billions and billions. And it's about time Queenslanders got their share of that in the future. But it'll be fair, and we're talking to the industry about that.
Premier, I've just got one more question, sorry. It's about the Indigenous voice to Parliament. South Australia has said today that it's going to introduce a state-based Indigenous voice to Parliament. Is that something Queensland would consider?
We're working on Path to Treaty at the moment, and we'll be marking that significant event in the next couple of months, so we'll have more to say about that then. Okay, we might just get Dr. Kennedy just to say a few words to you while you're here. Thanks.
Questions? Oh, hello. This will make a huge difference for Queenslanders. It puts all of our treatment modalities under the one roof. It means we have an integrated team, no matter what treatments or pathways or trials that any of our patients need to go through. All of that team in the one roof, a multidisciplinary team approach, sitting in one place for all of Queenslanders as well, because it's the opportunity for all of our clinicians to rotate through from other Queensland hospitals, from other areas within our health sector. So it really does integrate the service across Queensland. So make a huge difference. Oh, I think that's not a question for me. But clearly, an investment in a cancer centre potentially frees up beds where current cancer beds sit. That's my comment there.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I can